In order to get a better idea of what's happening, I'm going to do a mirror so I can judge it for the final result. I'll make sure everything is unlocked and do my first or what could be one of the last mirrors. So I will mirror. Okay. Based off of what I'm looking at, this crotch area is not going to be perfect, by the way. I remember for my rig, I had to create a corrective fix to make that middle part look correct. It's going to be a very hard thing to achieve perfectly unless you want like a sharp outlining of some of these parts so they go with either the hip or the thigh. But let me move things around and see what we have. There's a small patch of flesh that is doing some okay deformation, but I'm wondering if there's any more that can be done other than smoothing. Yeah, some of this stuff could definitely be cleaned up a little bit more. Based off of what I'm seeing with the topology. I'm only pushing it a little far out of realistic poses. Try not to go too much so that I don't break my own rule of accommodating broken poses. But yeah, this is definitely something that should be fixed. What I should have immediately done after the mirror was take a look at what some of the errors that the mirroring did, just things like this. So take away influence from the sides that shouldn't have it. And one thing I haven't mentioned that you should never do is attempt to mirror when the model is not symmetrical. So you always want to make sure you're in the zero pose. It will break, it'll produce an error with the mirror. You'll get some really horrendous results. I'm going to try to set this to the same numbers so that I could make sure I have a symmetrical model. So if I set this to 35, I'm going to make sure this one is also set to a minus 35. This should allow me to mirror in this pose and everything should transfer correctly. As long as the pose is symmetrical, you're fine. And it'll also help me to figure out what is the right topological breakup between the two, because it's the same exact values in the pose. Yeah, it also lets me see the center line. This is something that keeps occurring like I said it would. When there's if I go to 0.01, this is going to keep happening because if I select the other one, it's also there. So what I should have done was make sure that it's also removed from this side. The influence that the right thigh has on the left side should be removed as best as you can. I just want to be careful about how I do it down here with the center line. But I should be more bold with it down here. Let me go to the back and make sure, yeah, the back is fine because I did deal with that. Made sure nothing was crossing over, but here. There's definitely the system is doing its best to move things from left to right. It's just that you have mistakes on the left that are going to port to the right in the same way. So since this is symmetrical, I can try mirror now. I'll try it with the right side selected so I can see what things look like. So I'll go apply. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let me go back to a reasonable number and continue with this smoothing to get this central region looking as best as it can. Now I'm going to get a little micro over here, and I'm going to show numbers so that I can see what weighting these vertices down the center have, because I really want them to be right in the center. So if I was to select this vertice and I'll go into the weight paint tool, I see that for the root it has 0.99. For the left side it has 0.01, and then it has nothing for the other side. I think it's safe to say that everything down the center here, down the center line, should be with the root. So I'm going to select all of them, each individual vertice, and then I'm going to try not to touch them again after this. Let me use my paint selection tool to get them all. To about there. Yeah, and everything here really should just be assigned to the root. So I'll go replace one, flood. Okay, so this should put it right in the center, and it looks like I left one. Yeah. Go like that, and flood. All right, so now that I have at least that fixed, now I can focus my attention on just repairing one half so that the mirror doesn't break. So I'm going to turn off these numbers. And from now on, I'm going to make sure I select only half of the model. So I'm going to go to the front view. And only focus on, let me go to faces. Let me go into perspective, see that? Okay. Some of this back here, it's not selected, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about down here. This is the most problematic area. So now I'm going to make sure I'm only smoothing on one half down this central line until the topology looks presentable. Yeah. Till I have nice evenly spaced out topology. Yeah, with this now that I only fixed one half, I should be able to just apply a mirror. Yeah, and now it should port the changes over, and we're good now. Looks like now we just have this back side, which isn't as critical, but because of what I've done, I have to try to be consistent all the way up through this central line. So one way to select an edge a line of edges from one spot to the other is to right click, grab an edge, for instance, over here, and if I hold down shift and say double click, it should grab all of that. And this is what I'm looking to designate to, if I go to show numbers, yeah, I want this central part to all go to the root. I do have to be careful. It looks like some other things have influence there other than, yeah, some of the root here has influence, but not that much, very minimal, 0.06 all the way up to there. So it wouldn't hurt to assign it here. Well, yeah, and it also seems to be sharing between that and that 0.06. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say this, I could flood it with 1, and if I'm wrong, I'll just do the fix. So I'm going to grab that and do a flood. Okay, so with that flood, if I'm to now when I go in there, should see some better symmetrical behavior. And do another mirror. I have this selected and I go apply. Yeah. It's fixing it, but I suspect it's not the exact same because there's more of the left side has gone to the right. Yeah, like in some of this area here. I'm going to go to build pose and try to get another selection of a perfect half. And see where the left is here. Yeah, there's still stuff, and that's what's causing the problems. So I'm going to get rid of it. Select 1/2 and try to make sure that nothing from the right is on the left. Yeah, we have some of that too. So let me clear. Okay, so this should produce a much better mirroring. Yeah, this is what makes the this part difficult. You want to do the best job you can to get a good starting result. So I'll go -30 and 30. Go in there and take a look at this region.